it was interesting that the Air Force guy wasn't even there in the recruiting office to begin with. And I took note of that because I quickly learned the Air Force doesn't really need to recruit in the first place.
Why is that?
They have the best gig, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is just by the mission set of the Air Force, the weapon systems that you work on, the type of work that you'll be doing, the technical nature of the job. In many ways, you can essentially have a paid internship for the military industrial complex or the defense sector while you are serving. And that was the first play or the first bet that I wanted to make with my life. I wanted to pick a job that not only had a military need, but a civilian need. So when it came time to separate, I had options. I didn't have to re-enlist.
You were prepared as a person, like just in
Tried
general.
to be.
Yeah. So that's definitely a trait of yours. So with the Air Force, you don't go in there the first time, or you go in there the first time to do the research and talk with these different teams, and they're not there. How long before you actually got on their radar or you found your way?
Quite honestly, about a month. It was hounding down people, trying to find recruiters, trying to send emails, and then I finally got in contact with someone, and I started talking with him. I had a couple things that I wanted to accomplish as far as what job I wanted to pick. The first and foremost was I wanted a job that required or would give me some sort of security clearance. And the reason I knew this was so important was because if you get this security clearance with your time spent in the military, it makes you a lot more employable when you finally come out. That is essentially like guys will describe it as a golden ticket to start working in the defense sector. And the reason this is the case is because all the big defense contractor companies, we all know the names of them, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon, L3 Harris, those companies will negotiate a contract between the United States government and the private entities themselves to build weapon systems or products that are ultimately sold to the U.S. government. Once that contract is established, the military has a special requirement that says, hey, any product that we sell that you will ultimately maintain, the people and the individuals that maintain that weapon system or fix the computers or the airplanes or the whatever when they break, they have to be cleared and investigated because of the nature of the work. We can't hire Joe off the street because Joe off the street could be a Chinese asset or a Russian asset, and these are really technical weapon systems. So if I'm Raytheon, I have two choices. I can hire a dude off the street and pay to get him investigated, which is very costly and very expensive. And in many cases, you're taking a chance on a person. I don't know a person's immigration background. I don't know their family history. This investigation is not only, it takes a long time, but it may not come back in my favor. So I'm spending a lot of time and money on a person that might not work out for us.
So when they do those investigations, how much, it's not like a background check that I do if I go for a job where, they run me through some system. Like, do they do like private investigators on these people and all that shit?
I had a private investigator assigned to me, and I gave them contacts, and they knocked on doors and said, hey, do you know John Minelli? Is he a person that you would trust with national security? What was he like in high school? Is this a good person? And I couldn't
So they were open about it.
I couldn't talk to that person directly.
But they were open about that.
Yes, they brief you and say, hey, we're going to look into your life. They look into your credit score. They look into almost every facet of you to make sure you're an American that is not compromised as an asset, because we're going to be trusting you with very sensitive information. So if I'm that company, if I have that relationship with the U.S. government, I can either pay to have that happen, or I can hire guys who already have the clearance paid for by the government in the first place and plug them in directly to the products that we're already selling.
Now, how, especially from the private sector, because they're not officially government, air quotes, how reliable do you honestly think that is? Because, like, I remember there was someone I went to college with who smoked more fucking weed than anyone else. I got a call one day from someone at some government. It was a government thing or something. And they're like, oh, do you know this person? Did he ever smoke? I'm like, no. Fuck, no. And then I get off the phone. I'm like, shit, am I going to get in trouble for that? Like, is that what I was supposed to say? But they just took it. He got hired. He's doing great today. But you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Sometimes I think about that, and it's almost like it's checking a box rather than,
So the big things that they care about, the weed thing, and I'm not an investigator, I can't speak to this officially, but I've heard that has changed a little bit just with the social tides. Obviously on paper, hey, you can't smoke weed in the military or in the defense sector, but the big things they're looking for is, hey, is this person a Russian asset to begin with? And the big thing is, hey, is this person financially sound? Because if I have a person that has bad credit or a bunch of credit cards that are open and has $50,000 worth of debt, he is more easily compromisable. If I'm Russian, I say, hey, for $100,000, I can make all your problems go away. Just toss me some secrets.
You'll give me a weapon.
Exactly. It's easier to lean on those people.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.